Yeah, I was working on my car, and I'm trying to put an oxygen sensor in, and oh my goodness, and I love working on my car. That gives me peace. But I came over here on here to tell you this right here. If you come on my channel, this is a warning. If you come on my channel trying to tell me something about God and all of that and all, please, you know what? I can take so much of religion, but don't come to me with the bullshit. Because I'm going to tell you something. I've been getting a lot of folks that's telling me, this one lady, Tracy, this is for you, baby. Let me tell you something. It ain't shit you can tell me about my history, about my blackness, about my God. See, I don't just quote Bible verses and get on here and tell somebody to sit down. That's what's wrong with us black folks. We want to tell somebody to sit down because they tell you what their family. But I guarantee you, my ancestors and my elders and people who love me, I guarantee you, they didn't tell me nothing wrong. I got 3 nephews. Ain't none of them been in jail. All of them. 3. They are family men. They're providers. They have a career. Come on now. My son don't have no kids. He's a career guy. He ain't in jail. He ain't up here selling no rocks. And despite the fact that what he had, he didn't grow up with no silver thing. His mama, come on, I'm going to tell you about me. His mama didn't have men running up and down her house or stuff like that because my ancestors told me, my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather. See, there's one thing about it that, I was going to take a rest today because, I'm getting a lot of people that come on my channel and want to tell me how, they talk about folks being black and talk about what we may be punished by God, but all this stuff ain't about God punishing us and how we broke a covenant with God. That may be true. But some of y'all are in the dark about a lot of things. Y'all want to sit and get on your... Let me ask you a question. Now, I want to ask some of y'all on here, because this is grown folk talk, family. This grown folk talk. How many of y'all go out and do stuff for the community? How many of y'all know folks that are hurting, not just financially, but mentally? How many of y'all go to the soup kitchens and talk to people about God? How many of y'all, when you say you'll pray for them, you sit up here, you actually pray for them? See, you got to be careful. Don't, like I said, when I tell somebody that I'm praying for them and I tell them if you need me, come on, you can call me. I don't mean 8 to 5 or 7 to 3 or 2 I lay my head down. I've had people that call me and ask for prayer at 3 o'clock in the morning. When they facing it the wee hours of the morning, when they don't be able to see anything. See, what's wrong with us black folks is that we want to be so educated, we edumacated. We got, my father, my granddaddy, my grandmother, they didn't have scholars. They didn't go do no research and find out, because I'm going to tell you something, all of us ain't kings and queens. Some of us were peasants in our old country, and we came over here. Some of us, our ancestors, sold us for things. But the thing about it is this right here. When we start calling out the elephant in the room about black people and what we, not just what white folks are doing, but what we have done to ourselves, then that's when everybody want to come on and talk about, God. Okay, but what are you doing about God? What are you doing? How do you help the black community? Because it's not just, it's this. When I created this channel, it wasn't to talk about the black person as a negative is to make you look at the things that you want to do. I'm not finna sit here and say all of us blacks didn't come as slaves. Some of us and our ancestors probably came willingly. We can't sit here and say that. We can't sit here and say that. And I hope that my videos encourage you to go find out your family history. Go find out your history. I don't listen to when people start telling me, oh girl, we came from kings and queens. I don't know that. But I'll go find out. I found out about my daddy's side of the family. I found out about that. That's how I got this snout. See, this snout. But you know what? I remember the other night I was having a dream. Last night I had a dream. I dreamed I was a little girl and I was talking. I dreamed I was a little girl and I was talking to my grandmother in her kitchen. And when I left, we was having a conversation about something, and she was asking me questions about my grandbabies and my mama. My mama is the only person living in her family. And we were talking about things, and we were just sitting in there. We were having a great conversation. And I was 12 years old when I was talking to her, and we was having a great conversation. And when she said, I said, Grandmama, I got to get up and leave. But when I stood up, I was my age. I was my age. This channel, I could have one person on here, and if I could spread positive things or make you think about things, not in a negative way, but a positive way, then maybe that'll spread. Maybe it'll make you wanna, see things instead of negative. Instead of seeing it as a negative thing, you see it as a positive. Because in the black community, we have broken a covenant, not with God, but we have left and lost our roots. Where we grew, where we had, look at the videos of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. We have lost our way. We have lost our way. And some of us, especially now in the 80s, you can't talk about things that happened in the 70s and the 80s and how it relates to this. Because we got entitled young black folks that think that they entitled to things. We got folks that 80s and 90s mamas that felt like they competing against their children. We are lost. We are lost. And now it's more coming of a forefront, because not only that, we're dealing with our way of life may be changing in this country. But yet we have black folks. We're going to always have those black folks that feel like they are so educated that they can tell anybody anything. Well, you don't know anything. I'm 59 years old. I'll be 60 in December, and I promise you, I'm at the time of my life where I'm experiencing things that I would never have experienced. I'm learning things as I grow, as I learn. But don't come to me with that, you need to sit down. Girlfriend, get your ass off my channel. If you go build your own channel, if you want to come here with some foolishness, take your ass to another channel. Because here, this is grown folks talk, and we talk in a positive way. And we are not just talking in a positive way. We're building ourselves up to go back into our community, to correct the mistakes that we may have made. We're not sitting down. That's your shit. You go sit down. You go tell your son to sit down. You go tell your family members to go sit down. Because you don't tell me that. Because of the simple reason, that's our fucking problem. We always so quick. Instead of you telling somebody to go sit down because you don't know nothing, why don't you go and educate somebody? Why don't you go educate? If you see somebody that's lost, see, I'm going by what my family taught me, and my friend and my elderly friend. I had an elderly friend that was 82. She was 82, 84 when she died. See, I had great mentors. I had great mentors. And instead of, that's what's wrong with us. We so quick to act like we know so much. We don't know shit. We don't know shit. Because things you did in your 20s and 30s, some of us are in our 40s and 50s and stuff. We ain't got time for that. But then you still got folks that's 40, 50, and 60 years old going into their 70s, still trying to live a young life. I'm not trying to live a young life. Not like that. I'm trying to live a life where, you know what, I could pass a legacy down. And I think I'm doing a damn good job. So for all of you who want to come over here and talk about how I need to do this, no, you need to, you know what, I'm going to tell you something. This is why black folks are in the situation it is now. We so quick to tell somebody to go somewhere. Well, you just doing this. Because we calling not only other folks out, we calling ourselves out. Some of us have a hard time doing that, calling ourselves out. We sit here and we act like we good parents when we really, we could be better parents. It's beating on your children. Instead of instilling, not only when you discipline them, tell them why you discipline them. Tell them why. It's things in our community we need to correct. And we can't correct it as a whole. I can't go in here and preach the gospel to a whole group. But if I can reach one person out of one video, I've reached 1 million. Because that's what things that we need to know. How can we have a relationship with God when we ain't even got a relationship with ourselves? We don't even know ourselves. And I'm not talking about as black people. I'm talking about people in the individual. How can you have a relationship with God when you don't have a relationship with yourself? How can you sit here and talk about the love that you have for God when you don't have the love for yourself? How can you sit here and talk about how God forgive when you're ashamed to tell him what you're going through and how you're going through and what you went through and all the bad things that you do? You scared. See, your life is not about your business. It's a testimony. And some of us, we sit here and we talk about how we did this with God and we need to do this with God. And then some of us, how many times somebody told you, that, I'm going even further than that. How many times have people have told you, you know what, when you needed some help, not just financially, maybe you going through some, maybe you need your rent paid, you know what, and you praying and asking God for some help, you know, you know you're hungry and you ain't got nothing to eat, and when you tell them, you know, girl, you know, girl, can you loan me $20? Girl, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. Girl, what you need $20 for? You know what? I ain't got nothing to eat around here. Girl, I wish I did have it, but I just went to the store myself. I done had that situation. Instead of saying this right here, girl, you know what? I just went to the grocery store. Let me bring you something over here to eat. Let me bring you something over there for you to eat. I'm going to take some food out of my house and give it to you. Or better yet, somebody needs some gas too to go to work. And then you say, you know what? I got 20, but you know what? I tell you what nearest gas station near you? I give you 10 of that 20 so you can at least try to make it to work until payday. How many of us do that? How many of us do that? See, it's very few that you do. But be careful who you sit here and say what they need to do and how they need to do. Because, see, a lot of us, they get on social media and talk about God. That's all they do. They talk about God. Or better yet, when you saying, you know what? Somebody said, girl, I pray for you. But we don't do more than that. That's all we do is say, I pray for you. I pray for you. I'm going to go further, Miss Tracy, and tell you a nice little story about how you so-called church folks. When I moved here, I had lost my job. And I was crying because I was going to get evicted in a city. I didn't have no family or friends. And God told me to go to this church that they help and ask for help. And I did. With my eyes all watered and everything. And I went there and I told them, I said, you know what? I told them my situation. I said, you know what? I whatever y'all can give, I need that. But I need prayer more than I need anything else. This lady went in the back. She came back. And she sat down and she told me, this is a big church now. Told me, she said, you know what? She said, people always coming and asking the church for money, but I'm going to tell you something. Church is a business. And we have to pay our bills. Didn't even pray for me. Just said, told me that. And I went and I left that church and I said, you know what? I get it now. So my hand's dirty. I'm sorry. I was working on my car. And I got to thinking. I said, this would be a time when I'd be mad. I could be mad at God because God told me to go to that church. I could be mad at the people. Or I could be mad at churches. But you know what? I got a better idea. Why don't I, instead of me going there and doing that, let me get a better relationship with God. That's what I did. That's what I did. So like I said, I still curse. So like I said, before you want to sit here and y'all want to come over here and talk about how black folks ain't black and how, that, we need to do this and we're looking for positive things. We're not looking for negative things. If you want to come over here and tell somebody to sit down and they don't know what they talking about, no, you're not finna disrespect my ancestors. You take your ass, if you subscribe to me, you take your ass off, go find something else and go play with somebody else's game. Because see here, this is healing and this is confrontational stuff that we are not talking about to put nobody down. We're here to heal because it's somebody that's on this page that may want to hear that elephant in the room and want to deal with him. Somebody in this page may have to go and tell their child that's in jail that they sorry that they raised them the way they raised them and let him anger out his frustration so both of them can heal. Somebody right now needs to go and find their own healing. Their own healing, their own disappointment, their own anger, their own mistrust, and to build it up. And you coming on here telling somebody to sit down and they don't know what they talking about. No, you ain't finna disrespect my ancestors. You get cause I ain't trying to sell no merchandise. I ain't trying to get no sponsors. And I'm not trying to get I'm trying to do what somebody did for me. And that is address all my issues and try to find my healing along the way. Y'all have a happy weekend.